difference between people who look rich and people who become rich. Have you ever noticed something strange? Some people seem rich everywhere you look. They drive expensive cars, they wear premium brands, their vacations look perfect on social media. Their apartments are in the trendy part of town. And yet, years later, many of those same people aren't actually wealthy. Meanwhile, someone else drives a 5-year-old car, lives in a modest home, rarely posts online, and somehow ends up financially secure. So what explains the difference? Why do some people look rich while others actually become rich? Let's talk about it. Imagine two people living in a major city. Maybe it's London, Manchester, Berlin, Amsterdam, Chicago, or Dallas. Both are 30 years old. Both have good careers. Both earn around $85,000 a year before taxes. On paper, their financial lives should look very similar. After taxes, health insurance, and other deductions, each takes home roughly $5,000 a month. Now here's where things start to change. The first person decides to build a lifestyle that signals success. A luxury apartment costs $2,000 per month. A new SUV adds another $700. Insurance, subscriptions, dining out, weekend trips, and online shopping bring monthly spending close to $4,800. At the end of the month, almost everything is gone. The second person earns the exact same salary, but instead of asking, "What can I afford?" they ask, "What kind of life will this purchase create 5 years from now?" Their apartment costs $1,400. Their used car is fully paid off. They still travel. They still enjoy restaurants. They still have a life. But their monthly spending sits around $3,500. That leaves roughly $1,500 available every month. The difference doesn't look dramatic. In fact, most people wouldn't notice it at all. But over time, that gap becomes enormous. Let's do some simple math. The first person saves almost nothing. The second person invests $1,500 every month. That's $18,000 per year. Assume an average long-term market return of around 8%. After 10 years, that account could grow to more than $260,000. After 20 years, it approaches nearly $900,000. The salary wasn't different. The intelligence wasn't different. The opportunity wasn't different. The lifestyle choices were different. And that's where things become interesting. Because this isn't really a math problem, it's a psychology problem. Human beings are social creatures. We naturally compare ourselves to the people around us. When co-workers upgrade their cars, we feel pressure. When friends move into expensive neighborhoods, we notice. When social media constantly displays luxury lifestyles, our definition of normal quietly changes. The danger is that many of these purchases create visible status but invisible financial stress. Nobody sees the monthly payment. Nobody sees the credit card balance. Nobody sees the student loan that still exists 10 years later. They only see the lifestyle. And because they only see the lifestyle, they assume wealth caused it. But often, the opposite is true. The lifestyle is preventing wealth from being built. This is one of the biggest financial misunderstandings in modern society. People often confuse consumption with prosperity. A luxury car can make someone look successful. But ownership of productive assets is what actually creates financial security. One is visible. The other is usually invisible. That's why genuinely wealthy people often seem surprisingly ordinary. Not because they're avoiding enjoyment, not because they're obsessed with saving every dollar, but because they understand something important. Every dollar spent today is also a future asset that no longer exists. They don't evaluate purchases based only on price. They evaluate them based on opportunity cost. If something costs $20,000, they don't just see a $20,000 purchase. They see what that money could become over the next decade if invested instead. That perspective changes behavior. Not overnight, not dramatically, but consistently. And consistency is where wealth is usually built. The people who become wealthy rarely win because of one brilliant financial decision. More often, they win because they avoid hundreds of small decisions that quietly work against them. Overpriced cars. Lifestyle inflation after every raise. Constant upgrades that create temporary satisfaction but permanent expenses. The challenge is that these choices don't feel expensive in the moment. A monthly payment feels manageable. A slightly nicer apartment feels reasonable. A few extra luxuries feel deserved. And individually, they often are. The problem appears when all of them happen at the same time. That's when a high income starts producing surprisingly little wealth. So the difference between people who look rich and people who become rich isn't usually income. It's not luck. And it's rarely intelligence. It's the ability to separate appearance from reality. To understand that financial success is often much quieter than financial success looks. Because in the long run, wealth isn't what people see. It's what remains after the spending stops. If you found this perspective useful, consider subscribing for more thoughtful conversations about money, psychology, and long-term wealth building.